Back after a few weeks. The show has returned. What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing well. Starting a couple minutes early here. I don't know how long this one will be. Maybe 30, 45 minutes tops here. But I tried this a while back. I tried to do this when I think I was in like Yuma or something like that. And it wasn't as well put together as it is now. And so the show is going to be about a full, comprehensive, if you will, review on Don Fall's time with CrossFit. I've gone back and watched every interview pretty much he's done since the first one at the games in August of 2022. I put together this pretty extensive. Now this is all AI driven, so you gotta take that with a grain of salt, right? But I prompted it all up and I put together this like extensive research on Don Fall's initiatives that he first set out when he started with CrossFit back in 2022, and no CrossFit, no. And we went into a little deep dive. We broke down every single kind of section of CrossFit and what the initiatives were there, and what's happened since. And it's crazy because after listening to all the podcasts, there's so much time, but there is like so little said. It's quite impressive, to be perfectly honest with you. And I was scanning through the most recent one, which was like two months ago, where he did it with the CrossFit HQ podcast. I think it's just called the CrossFit Podcast with Denise Thomas. And I was like scanning through that. It's an hour and 29 minutes, and it's just impressive of like how much there's just nothing there. CrossFit, the roast of Don Fall featuring Matt Souza. No, not really. It's not really like a roast, and this isn't really like a hit piece. I tried to do it as like suit and tie professional as I could. Like if literally somebody was like, hey, write something up on CrossFit and the leadership and what's been going on, and then give me your thoughts and your notes on it. That's what this is. Here's the thing. I also have this whole thing organized and written down. So if you're this is nerdy though, so this ain't really gonna be for everybody. I'm gonna let you know right now. But if you're into that kind of thing, I made the report and the whole entire details. CrossFit, not a hit piece. Also, the podcast title. Come on, dude, you gotta give people a little clickbait. We'll see. Anyhow, if you guys want to check out the report, I'll make it public. Like I'll make it so you can read it. Do you guys want to read it? Put in the comments if you would actually like scan through it. I organized it pretty well. There's like a quick overview that gives you just a summary, then a breakdown, and then there's basically the notes that I'm going to be working off of now. So this is a great question here, Darren Garrity. Who disappeared better, Don Fall or Cale Lehman? Exactly. Where has Don Fall even been? I think the last time we heard from him was what, maybe a couple months after the games ended, September-ish or something like that. And since then, he's just been vanished, just gone. Maybe the quick announcement that CrossFit, quote unquote, was for sale and up for bid. But outside of that, there wasn't much. Now, as you guys know, and I've had a couple requests for this, so we'll definitely just shoot the shit on the next show. And I'll give you guys a quote unquote, behind the scenes look at what it was like broadcasting to events. That would be kind of a fun show because you guys could get on here and ask me a bunch of questions, and we'll do the tell all, everything that went wrong, everything that went right. Why did the screensaver pop up? But I got this fancy stuff for y'all here. Check this out. If you could find out the color scheme I ripped this from and basically the idea, put in the comments. I might send you something. All right, so we got the first portion of it here, which is going to be operational efficiency and HQ culture. So this is specifically speaking internally what's going on at CrossFit HQ and what the initiatives were there. Okay, so the first one here, and I have this, I got a couple portions of this queued up. Like I literally went through and put timestamps where this was discussed by Don. And after doing a bunch of the timestamps, I was like, I don't think you guys want to listen to this. Maybe it was just me. Maybe I just got fatigued listening to the same kind of corporate speak over and over again. But I just put together a couple of the clips, and as you guys know, he hasn't been around much, so there's not much really out there. But we're gonna start with this, and this is Don back in 2023, July of 2023. So this is almost like 2 years ago here. I'm gonna share the screen, and this is kind of him talking about silos.
Underestimated, I think, because I didn't fully grasp some of the history. Some of the challenges resident in how we show up and operate. HQ, we were unbelievably siloed in how we worked. We had EDU, we had sport, we had affiliates. Those teams were doing their thing, working incredibly hard. Not a lot of coordination, not a lot of collaboration. We weren't showing up with consistency in terms of how we talked to the community. We were making decisions sometimes that were duplicative or at odds. And it took me some time to understand the why behind that. And, it's not that people wanted to be siloed. It was, some things that had happened historically. And so that took us some time as a leadership team to sit down and say, okay, is this an important problem to solve? If so, how do we get there? And how do we build confidence in the team? And how do we give the team surety that the changes we're going to make, because we've got to make some changes, that those changes are going to be good for them individually in their career, the impact that they can have. They're going to be good for the company. And most importantly, that they're going to be good for the community. So, hey, that may mean, for example, letting go of some things that this team used to fully own and handing them over to another part of the organization in service of being able to show up with one voice and being able to show up with consistency. And those things are easy to say and easy to write down on paper. At a human level, that stuff is really hard, particularly given some of the history that we had. So, that's one example that comes to mind. And
okay, so switch it up there. So synergizing HQ silos. I think it's gone worse, and I cannot believe that there's like the amount of like blame placed on the past. So this is again July of 2023. So he's had a full year, a whole entire year to determine, okay, how are we going to make sure that there's cohesion and everybody on the team is rowing in the right direction and pulling at the same time. That is wildly important when you come into the type of landscape that Don did with CrossFit HQ. The reason why is, if you think about in terms of the leadership turnover, the uncertainty of like, where's this thing going? Are we still going to have jobs? As a leader, you have to come in and first and foremost, make sure that there is some sort of culture at HQ. And I just do not think that that is possible without having it be in person. And that to me is the most important piece. I'm going to try to get my screens moving here. And that is literally in my opinion, the most important piece as far as trying to find some sort of HQ culture. There's no way that if you got senior leadership all in the same place at the same time, that they can start to work through and solve some of these major issues that are happening with inside CrossFit HQ. I cannot imagine, and this is coming from some assumption, but also some anecdotal conversations with people basically saying, oh yeah, we saw that was coming down the pipeline, but I couldn't really change it or do anything about it because last time I got out of my lane, or last time I intruded, quote unquote, into somebody else's work, I got in trouble for it. And it doesn't really seem like it should be that difficult, at least at a leadership level, to make sure that there is some sort of cohesion and that there's a lot of overlap between your teams. And I just don't see how that's possible without moving HQ in person. And so this next piece of it here is pretty interesting. So we're going to switch over to cost reduction in sport operations. So I have this theory that the 2024 CrossFit Games potentially would have been the most profitable games. We will never know. We will never know, because there's no way they're going to come out after the tragic death of Lazar Dukic and will say, oh, by the way, guys, this was wildly profitable this year. We were able to cut a ton of cost and get some more revenue in, and the games are looking good. We actually made a small profit margin on this. But you'll never know. We'll never know what came from the at least money wise, what came from the reduction of money coming into sport. It's also going to be very interesting to see what this looks like moving forward, because there could have been a couple of these initiatives that may have been working, but the tragedy of Lazar has completely skewed all that off big time. Jeffrey Bako. I added Jeffrey to your name, Jeff. I'm a dinosaur. I entered the adult workforce in 1990. I never understood the work from home and still don't. I think with some jobs, it's very possible, right? Like if you're not, if you're either a contractor or if you're in different departments where being in the same building isn't as important as some of the leaderships, especially when it comes to publishing. I think that I just don't see when you acquire a company that is internally the way that HQ is, which just seems from the outside looking in like a mess and a bunch of people that are not communicating or talking to basically move in the same straight line together. How in the world will you put the pieces of those puzzle back together without having everybody in the same place? I don't think that that'll work, and I don't think that that's possible at this point in time. So the interesting thing about the games is we won't know. We won't know if there was if the games were profitable. I also don't think it's appropriate for them to talk about that. So I'm not saying that they should put out any report or anything like that, but we do know that there was a significant amount of money taken out of sport. We do know that as far as ticket sales and things like that, we didn't see the decline that we saw from 2023 to 2024 that we're seeing now. So I'd be really curious to find out. The other thing with the games there, and you guys have heard me talk about this in the past, is that it needs to be branched off onto its own profit and loss. So that way you can look at the CrossFit Games as its own entity and say, is this standing on its own legs? Meaning, is it self-funding and is it making a small profit? A small amount of subsidies coming from training and from the affiliates, I believe is appropriate, especially if you're allocating that money in a way that is continuing to amplify education and amplify affiliates at the games. But I don't think that, sorry, I got self-conscious there for a minute because I was like, am I talking too fast? I always talk too fast. But I don't think that that we'll ever know, and who knows the future of the games at this point either. So that is the cost reduction and sports operation. I also think that there was a lot of mistakes made in this season of putting where they placed the in affiliate stuff versus when you got to do the online affiliate and all that. The whole thing right now seems like a mess, but I understand it's reactionary after a tragedy of what happened. And you have to kind of get that stuff together and decide relatively quickly so you can map out the next season. And that might be a hard thing to do. Fair point, but I think it's the vast minority, and 95% of the people lack discipline. I could not agree more, Jeff. You're absolutely right. It is a small amount of people that could work from home, and the majority of them that, let's say, the job is okay to work from home, like you could see how that would work. The majority of those people aren't going to be as productive as if they were all inside the same building, all at the same time. Matt talks like he chews Adderall or has a shitload of coffee before that. Okay. So moving on to the next portion here, which we've already touched base on, which is going to be maintaining a strong internal culture at HQ. Until you really decide where HQ is going and what the whole entire vision is for it, how are you going to have a culture that is surrounding or that is doing anything? You need to first say, this is who we are and this is what we're doing. And this may not work for some of you guys, but it is what it is. I don't think that you can also have a internal culture at CrossFit HQ in particular unless you have leadership doing CrossFit. I think there's going to be a massive struggle with saying, hey, this is who we are, this is where we're going, and this is what we do. And now let me hire you from outside in and kind of show you this is what CrossFit is, and these are the people. I think that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough to do. Graham S., based on the title Don Faul is Cooked from Souza shows, the episode likely dives into heavy criticism or exposes controversy involving Don Faul, possibly around leadership decisions. You should write the intros, Graham, and then come on and dish that out. I'm not saying that's impossible, because we have seen some hires that have come in. Jenna Haka is probably one of the ones that I would think about that maybe not necessarily wasn't completely doing CrossFit or die hard beforehand, but is completely bought in now. Like a ton of her posts are all doing CrossFit. She's at a gym and at an affiliate, I would presume. and everything else. And she posts a lot of it and stuff like that. So you could definitely see, oh, using Copilot. Oh, interesting. So you could definitely see that that's possible with senior leadership. You don't have to be diehard CrossFit and then come in. But when you are talking about a company that was built off essentially disciples running it, like if you remember, CrossFit HQ used to be really cool. Like you used to want to be there, you used to want to be a part of it. And now I don't even know what their identity is, and I don't think they do either. So again, you got to hire the right people, and you for sure. I remember this story someone used to tell, that there was a guy that worked at CrossFit HQ, and somebody had brought in, I don't know if it was a worker or somebody else had dropped it off. And either way, the story goes, there was a box of donuts in the company kitchen. And he walked over and just took them and threw them away, and then posted the picture on Slack that he like threw the donuts away. That's company culture at CrossFit HQ, that in the ethos says no sugar. It was brought in, it was thrown away. I don't know. That's extreme. I get it. But at the same time, like that should be how a CrossFit HQ is. You should be die hard to the ethos there, especially if you're in senior leadership. Is Jenna auditioning for her next position? Possibly. Copilot integrates Microsoft Office products. I find myself using it more and more, especially with Excel. Okay, so it's like the Copilot's like the Gemini of Microsoft. I've been using that quite a bit because it links all the stuff. Avery, love donuts in the trash, not extreme at all. I mean, and here's the thing, everything trickles down from the top in terms of leadership and how you behave. So like if you hear stories like that, or if somebody from HQ posted that happened, some people are going to be like, that's ridiculous. Like you could have donuts. Some people are going to disagree with it, whatever. You're going to have all these things. But in the back of a bunch of affiliate owners' minds, they're going to say, damn, next time someone brings something into this gym that we don't agree with diet wise, maybe I should ditch it. You know, maybe not as rude, but you get the idea. Okay. This last one here is hosting more affiliate summits. Now I took some notes with this one, because it's hard to tell which affiliate summits are put on by the affiliate reps and just kind of endorsed, quote unquote, by CrossFit, or which one are actually like CrossFit affiliate gatherings. I've been to a few that were a couple years back when they had it out here in Pleasanton, and the affiliate summits and things like this, to me, are probably the most important investment you could make in terms of outreach to your affiliates. There is so little that you really have to do with your affiliate owners outside of just bringing them all into the same space and giving them time just to talk shop, that adds a shitload of value. I mean, as an affiliate owner, you come in and all of a sudden you're in your little silo. Again, this is going back to why I imagine working in a silo with a larger company, but you're in your little silo and you start to think like, oh man, like I'm dealing with all this stuff and nobody really kind of understands, and I don't really have an outlet to discuss these things, or just even necessarily just kind of vent about them, complain about them. And whenever you get a ton of affiliate owners in the same room, that's exactly what happens. You're like, oh my gosh, I found my people. And they start talking about some of the things that they're dealing with and experiencing. And you kind of get a smile on your face because you're like, holy shit, I'm dealing with that, the same exact thing. Or I just experienced that. Or I remember when that happened. And those conversations that start to happen just turn into like this big melting pot of like ideas and just connections, and all of that will strengthen your affiliate network immensely. So, and I think you could do it with a relatively low cost. And obviously this goes for everything I'm saying on this whole entire show, is that I have limited information, and I understand I have limited information. So I'm doing the best, assessments of these things with the information that I have. But assuming they're not really cost suckers, doing as many of those as you can, or supporting your affiliate reps to make sure that they have the resources to be able to do them more and more often, is only going to compound your investment over time. I think that that's wildly huge. And I got a cool new swiper. Dang. So that was the first one. These rest of them start to get a little bit more juicy because we have quite a bit of more data on these. The internal stuff is more or less an educated guess and a stab in the dark. Let's not lie. So we have growth and community expansion as our next set of initiatives here laid out by our fearless leader. Let me scroll up to my page here. Oh, one person said make the report public. So that's all I needed. And then in my DMs later on Instagram, you guys are going to see me. So many people were reaching out. So many people. I got so many DMs from you guys. Realize it was one person. All right. First topic on here. Now, this one, you may want to actually check out the report, because what I did here is reaching 30 million. He put athletes. I put athletes in parentheses because it should be CrossFitters. So reaching 30 million CrossFitters by 2030. This is a pipe dream. With the help of AI here, I ran a bunch of different scenarios on what it would take to get to 30 million CrossFitters without even a timeline. Like, just what does the math on that look like? And at a current rate of the 150 average member per affiliate, you would need 200,000 affiliates. 200,000 affiliates that could have an average of 150 to try to reach your 30 million. If not, you would have your current amount of affiliates, which I think this put the math at like between 13 to 14,000 affiliates, which I did some research on the current number, and I'll give you guys that in a minute. But even if you had that many, each affiliate would need like 3,000 something members. And I have all the exact numbers in the breakdown of it in the report. And I just thought about it for a second. I was like, holy shit, there is really nothing behind this. There was nothing behind this. Meaning the number, the timeline, it was basically just like, in my opinion, just completely pulled out of thin air. Because when you run the simple math on it and you talk about how much, like the timeline on that and how much you would need to be growing in terms of affiliates and new CrossFitters and everything else, like it would be exponential, insane. And so I ran a report too off the current number of affiliates. Now, we've heard this number switch from 14,000 to as low as 11,000, I think it was. And I have the current number now, according to the CrossFit affiliate map, at 9,925 as the current number of affiliates as of February 2025. So even getting that, I'm sorry, that was the number of, so if that number of affiliates did not change and we still wanted to get to 30 million people, each affiliate would have to have 3,023 people. Holy shit, 3,021 people. Not saying that that would be amazing, but just saying like it would completely have to change the operation of the affiliate for us to serve 3,000 people with the same amount of people attending the gym on the regular. Not a chance. So that immediately makes me question everything set forth from that point forward by Dom, because you guys know that out of all the stuff we're going over here, the 30 million is probably the most kind of talked about metric that he threw out. So I ran this, and this is going to be kind of get into the sidelines of like my thoughts on this, because I don't just want to point and be like, that was dumb or this wasn't thought through and then not give anything. So I think for 2023 to still have, or 2030, excuse me, to still have that goal in mind, it's estimating right now that there's around 2 to 5 million CrossFitters. Now, this isn't just inside of affiliates. These are CrossFitters doing them in their garages or maybe CrossFit style type things that we're kind of including into this. But I'd like to just put the affiliates at the heartthrob of this, because if you were really going after this initiative, they would be your powerhouse in terms of servicing all those CrossFitters. If we were to set a realistic goal for 2030, it would be doubling the amount of CrossFitters. We're going to estimate that somewhere in the middle of the 2 and 5 million at 3.5 million. So currently right now we got 3.5 million CrossFitters, hopefully majority of those inside of affiliates. And we would like to double that number by 2030. That would have been a realistic goal. And if you look through some of the stuff of breaking this down, it's still extremely like it's an aggressive goal, because you would still have to get 35,000 affiliates to be able to service all 7 million CrossFitters. And the number of average number of members per that affiliate would sit somewhere between 467 and 533. So now you could see, like, okay, 35,000 affiliates is a lot. That's aggressive, really aggressive. And the number of members per each affiliate between 450 and 530 is still large, and most gyms would not be able to handle that. But most large CrossFit gyms today that are really successful, that have been around for a long time, are probably servicing somewhere around that number of affiliates. I think like Craig Howard or something over at Diablo is like maybe between 500 and 600 members, maybe more. But a gym his size, with him being able to run operations like that, he manages that no problem. So you know that that's definitely feasible. Now, I don't know if any affiliate as of right now that is ran with actual classes and shit like could have that. So, Matt Souza, how would you go about servicing 35,000 affiliates? That's approximately 100 affiliates to service a day. Yeah, you would have to have a lot better infrastructure for affiliate support, which we'll talk about in a little bit, which is kind of like gathering the data and the rest of these bullet points on here. But it would, yeah. That's why, imagine the 30 million goal. It just seems like insane. So that number right away, I don't know how that would pass managing partners in the board. I don't know how that would get past them. I don't know how anybody would listen to that number that was sitting at that meeting with the executive leadership and say, like, Don, like, what does this look like? 30 million? They'll like break that down for me. I don't get it. So yeah. What's up, Sean? How you doing, dude? Are any affiliates serviced now? Okay, I can't tell if you guys are just trolling me now because I said serviced, or if these are legitimate questions. Oh boy, I accidentally zoomed in. Avery, HQ should have tried levels of affiliation, so smaller or gym affiliates pay lower affiliation rate and maybe a different support. Yeah, and I'm gonna go the complete different way than most people think about that too. I think a lot of it should be free. Don, that's a meaningful number. Yeah. No kidding. Got an affiliate to service right there. You guys. Okay, here we go. The second one is going to be partnerships and relationships with affiliates. This could be massively improved upon. I think a lot of the affiliate reps are doing a great job. I think they need a significant amount of support. I think if you look at the rest of the stuff that was invested into, and then you take the affiliate reps and what they're trying to pull off with the resources that they have available from HQ, there's not enough there. You cannot tell me that affiliates are your main source of revenue and they're everything and blah, 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 blah. And then I immediately look to your affiliate rep, who's going to be the closest next thing to HQ and the affiliate. And they just look, I mean, I just think about Katie Hogan. Her region here is extreme. Like the amount of just pure like space she has to cover and all the affiliates that's inside of that. I don't understand how you expect them to do anything effectively in terms of helping the affiliates and in terms of being proactive about affiliate gatherings or any of their needs with the current support that they have. That just seems nuts. Pat Lang, Susan, no troll. Working out my affiliate today and tomorrow. Nuts, 100 degrees and no AC. No. I think as long as you got some water there and you know what you're getting into and you adjust your workout appropriately, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I don't think it needs AC. And if you're somebody who like overheats easy, maybe take it easy that day. Maybe don't do anything super high intense. So I think the biggest path to improving their partnerships and relationships with affiliates is 100% going to be, number one, stop selling them shit. Stop. The affiliate network partner, the partner network, like all of that, like done. The only thing that should be happening in terms of CrossFit HQ selling anything to the affiliate should straight up be like, these people want your guys' money, so we force them to give you a 50% discount because you're an affiliate owner. If you choose to buy it, great. We're not endorsing their product. They're just going to give you guys a massive discount, so we put you on our website here. There you go. That should be the only relationship. If you start to get in between brands and different things like that in the affiliates, now all of a sudden I'm like figuring out how I can make money on the pass through, or I'm developing products for my affiliates in hopes of like getting revenue off of that. I don't think that that's a good path for a CrossFit HQ to go down. If anything, they should be the protectors of that and say, hey, you're not selling shit to my affiliates. You're not selling anything to them at the affiliate gatherings. And I'm not, as CrossFit HQ, going to put anything in front of them to sell on your behalf because you guys paid me to do so, or because you paid me and I get revenue. And I know some of you guys listening to this probably think that that's a dumb idea and was like, oh, well, you know, you're leaving a ton of money on the table. But I think it fundamentally changes the relationship between CrossFit HQ in the affiliates once you start putting brands in front of them, and those incentives change when you're trying to make money from them other than the affiliate fee. Improving affiliate quality and uniformity. This is probably one of the most, I've talked about this before, but this is probably one of the most, not controversial, but out there might be takes that I have. Now, improving affiliate quality and uniformity, I think should be done by the L1 seminar staff. I think that a lot of them are hurting for jobs here. So in order, I mean, certs have slowed down, and CrossFit has put the L1, or is attempting to, in the name of accessibility, putting it online. So for me, the L1 seminar staff is completely underutilized and underappreciated. And I think that if you gave them a region where they had a certain amount of space that they were covering, and when they weren't giving seminars, they were just dropping in at affiliates. Now, not dropping in necessarily in terms of giving you a report card or like bar rescue where they like film it secretly and then put you on blast. But literally, I think that's the best way for quality control. Because I used to use this with my staff, like back in the day or whatever. You'd be like, hey, we heard, you know, Dave Castro's around and might be dropping in today. Or we heard that, you know, the affiliate rep is around and might be dropping in today. And whenever you put that, like, you know, that out there, most coaches are like, shit, all right, I'm going to keep my classes good and tight because I don't want to be the one that was having an off day when one of these people came in and represented the gym that way. And if you have a bunch of L1 staff that's dropping in periodically, they're not really announced, they're just showing up and doing the class. Afterward, they're putting in some sort of feedback just specifically to the owner on their experience. And within that feedback, we could have some sort of, you know, uniformity there as to what they're looking for. The information, I'm sure, would just be derivative from the L1 or the L2 and the standards that CrossFit wants to uphold in terms of the experience in the classroom. But think about it. If you just had L1s that were just dropping in randomly, everybody might tighten up a little bit. And if you're a gym owner that's maybe a little bit more lax or don't see the same value as investing in education for your coaches or any of that, like that might put a little fire under your butt. Now, I have a whole entire readout of that inside this as well, too, under the improving affiliate quality and uniformity. But I do have one piece here. Maybe it wasn't on this one. Oh, yes, it was. Let me show you this, because this is something that it kind of pissed me off a little bit. Just in terms of like, I don't know. I'm gonna play it for you guys, and then we'll go from there.
Finally, we're making some.
I'd just like to make a quick shout out because the finally, like, it was so much that when I was listening to it, I could just cut it together and probably have 20 minutes of and ahs. Also, RIP Talking Elite Fitness Studio there. RIP. Look at that studio. Damn, must have been nice. Okay.
Investments on the education side. So two big themes there. One is when we look at, we know we have the best coaches in the industry. No question, full stop. But we believe we can raise the bar even more and put even more distance between us and everyone else. And in doing so, have an even bigger impact on people. I was at this affiliate gathering in Portland this weekend. And I asked all the affiliates in the room, I said, hey, raise your hand right now if you would feel 100% confident recommending a close friend or family member to walk into any one of our affiliates anywhere around the world, knowing they're going to have an amazing experience. And I didn't get a single hand raised. And that doesn't mean we don't have great affiliates. That means we can do better. And so our job is at HQ, we're going to step a little bit more into, one, making sure you've got the tools you need to deliver that experience. And then two, holding the community ecosystem accountable for that.
No and no. How and what exactly are you going to give the affiliates in terms of support? He goes on later in one of the interviews, and I can't remember which one, which essentially is like, oh yeah, we were unsure of what to do. So we had a bunch of conversations. We asked for a lot of feedback. And then really the tools were put together by the affiliates. It's what in the world? I don't even, and the thing that was frustrating to me too is when it was like, hey, raise your hand here if you're confident sending a family member to any affiliate around the world and they're going to have a great experience. And he's like, oh, nobody would raise their hand. It's like, well, then what the fuck are you doing about it? Like, whose job is that? Everybody that's sitting in that room would be my answer. It's like, what is HQ supposed to do about that? And go find one person, go take the same amount of people in the room and say, which one of you guys have gone into every Starbucks you've ever visited and had an amazing experience every time? Like, what? This makes zero sense. And there's no approach to it. There's no fix. There was nothing offered there other than like, we're going to do a better job of giving tools. I've sat on a handful of the town hall calls with affiliates and different the affiliate town halls and different things like that. Nothing is talked about. There are no tools that are in there. What happened to the affiliate mentorship? It failed. And I have quotes on why it actually didn't do well either. So to say that like improving quality, uniformity, and then we're going to give you the resources and tools to change that, but then we don't know how, that's scary. Because it just tells me you don't know what to do. You don't know the constraints that affiliates are dealing with, and you don't know how to overcome those constraints. It's kind of scary, really. Okay, gathering data on athletes, affiliates, and athletes. And again, we're replacing athletes with CrossFitters. I know there's some legal mumbo jumbo around that, but that doesn't involve me, so I'm calling them CrossFitters. Okay, so gathering data on affiliates and CrossFitters. This has gone nowhere. And I put in my notes here too that partnerships are everything with this. The fact that you don't have Chris Cooper in there and the data collection that he's already getting for the state of the industry report and making your first phone call to him and say, hey, you're already doing something amazing here with this and you're giving away for affiliates for free. How could CrossFit HQ support? And the reason why we want to support it is because I want to see if we could double down on this data, still give it out to all the affiliates for free. But in exchange for that, can we have that information as well so we can make the necessary changes with that data? I don't. And I know that Hustle Up has certain ideas around this with the app and trying to take all the gym software and everything and like put it into one cohesive thing. And they would have all the data from it and everything else. But I think right now it's too fragmented. And I'm not sure. I know Chris Cooper told us how much that state of the industry report cost. And I know it ain't cheap. And he does it and he literally gives it away for free. It's like, come on. How in the world? Jake said something cool here too that I liked. Mandatory courses that knock down the price of affiliation each year. Yeah, just to go back with one last thought on the improving the affiliate quality and uniformity. If you do read the report, you will see that I have kind of this long-term idea of putting the affiliate map rating up. So on CrossFit.com, you go to the affiliate map, and then there's ratings on the affiliates. Those ratings can be only put in by seminar staff members. That was one of my kind of public accountability things. Because when they talk about the affiliate map or like lead generation for affiliate stuff, like nobody really goes to CrossFit.com and then goes to the affiliate map and then number one even knows what the education L1, L2, L3 knows what that means or cares, and then also finds that affiliate via that affiliate map. Like the majority of the people that I know that are coming in from the gym, it's basically I put into Google CrossFit near me. So I think that any investment made in that map or to try to highlight education or anything like that is money not well spent. Does CrossFit view TubeBrain as a competitor or a resource? Well, that's a great question, Daniel. That's a great question. And they should view all of them as resources. The only time they start to view them as competitors is when they pick product A over product B and then try to sell product B to the affiliates in exchange for revenue percentage or licensing fees or whatever the case may be. This is new. The deal sergeant. CrossFit is a method for training people. TubeBrain is a business method that helps a CrossFit as a business. Great distinction. Thank you. And I agree. Souza, I think that has to be coupled with support, though, because otherwise you're just pushing struggling affiliates out and they depart. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that they should have a ton of resources there. But here's the thing, too. Some of these affiliates, like, I don't know, a random percentage will just die off. And at some point, you have to be okay with that. Not saying that that's the intent or the goal, but it is what it is. The affiliates are the most important piece. So any investment there is a great investment to make. This one's relatively short. I think we've talked about the media and the concepts here ad nauseum, but we'll get into it nonetheless. Okay, so meaningful investment in media. This has been interesting because I would say that there has been improvement on this. You could see the stuff that they're putting out with like the Roads to the Game series and a couple of these other things that are now on YouTube here, but like they have made attempts here. I do believe this is just all contracted out to Tyson Oldroy and his team, and they're doing fantastic work. I just think it needs to be done 10,000 times more, and it needs to be less scheduled. So I put my thoughts here on this thing called media thoughts on 2025, but I'll just read this to you, this section of it super quickly. And essentially the premise is that media nowadays is a constant flow. It's not campaigns. And I think when you start talking in terms of like, this is our campaign and this is our initiative, and then this is what we're going to push out, and here's the sequence of how this is going to go, like you're already lost. You're behind. I mean, so many people today are just scrolling through onto the next thing, what's happening right now, that by the time they realize that there's this like campaign and there's this, it's like it's moved on. So in my opinion, CrossFit HQ's media needs to be a living, breathing thing. And you could just look at this show as an example of that. I think, or this podcast as an example of that. There's multiple shows on here. We have like Shut Up and Scribble. We have Jenny's show. Like as CrossFit HQ, I would have my channel damn near live all day. And you would be having podcasts, you'd be having training ones, you'd be having interviewing of affiliates. We'd be bringing in experts in the health and fitness space. Anytime someone would make a hit piece on CrossFit, I would either invite them into the studio to discuss it, to have like an actual show and a debate, or I would already be working on my piece as to why theirs is completely false. Like in today's world, if you do not have media first, you are toast, because you need to have defenses. You need to control your own narrative, and you need to be on the forefront of people's minds and capturing their attention. And you can't do that with these old school campaigns and, okay, well, we're going to invest this amount and do this for Q1, and then we're going to change it and do this for Q2. And where are we sequenced with this? Like, no, you just need to start shooting from the hip, boom, 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 and firing stuff out all the time. And now I'm specifically talking about CrossFit and CrossFit education and affiliates in this bucket of media. And again, I would take the whole games bucket of media and I would place that on its own P&L with just game stuff. And then I would have the same idea happening here. And then I would just have overlap or overcross. Like that's it. Like, or crossover, I mean. You need to be able to just have a constant flow of it. Constant. And anything that comes out, especially with this Make America Healthy Again movement, we should be getting information on every single person that's coming through there? What's happening with that? Who got elected or put in where? What are their new jobs? Who do we know from this? Like, all of this we should be positioning ourselves. CrossFit should be positioning itself as the health and fitness expert, utilizing media at scale to accomplish that. It's got the resources and it's got the connections. Start utilizing it. And secondly, the CrossFit podcast, it needs to be live. Every show in your ecosystem is live. You can't go backward and do post-production for this. Like, you have to have something that engages with an audience, that I could sit here and I could pull up Joseph's comment and say, hire Hiller. Absolutely, I would contract Hiller out and engage with him and tell Corey, it's all right that he's late. We had to start a few minutes early and I got something at 8. We're going quick for this back half. I mean, Dave's doing it. Like, you could see even Dave doing it. It's just constant. So I don't think that there might have been a meaningful investment in media for sure, dollar wise, but the strategy is completely wrong. The strategy is completely wrong. Building brand and storytelling, to me, again, is not about a campaign. It isn't about one commercial that changes everything. It isn't about trying to come up with these like initiatives or different things like this. Here's what I would do. If you want your big blockbuster, I would make a docu-series. I'd call it The Rise and Fall of CrossFit, and I would do it at the start of CrossFit, and I would go right up till 2020. And I would make it a freaking drama series about internal conflicts that are happening, the massive growth and expansion of CrossFit during that time, and the corruption exposed by CrossFit. A film like that, really well done, in a multiple episode series on Netflix, could change everything for CrossFit. So if you you would tell the brand story, like you would capture all that. So if you were really wanting to make a real big, meaningful investment, you wanted one big piece that might change everything rather than investing in a campaign, that's what I'd put my money on. And that's what I would do. This last one here is kind of hilarious because they talked so much about improving Google search and keywords, and it's going to take a long time to see these investments come around and all this other stuff that we talked about it. Now Google Google search and keyword and stuff, it's freaking just about dead. Like dead. Especially with AI and different things that are happening now. Like, search is going to change completely. So to invest any money into this at all was a complete waste. And where in the world are we getting our strategies from? Like 2010? It's crazy. Han Solo sounds like Hiller's next series. No, dude. This would take, I mean, Hiller would be great to be involved, but no, I'm talking about like a crew. And there's only one person who could make this. And that's Sevon. Sevon Matosian is the only person that can make that series, that docu-series, and do it justice. If anybody else tries to do it or attempts to do it, they will fall short. Sevon has the connections. He has the knowledge. He has the relationships. He's and of course, I have a completely biased opinion, but he's the only one that could do it, I think. So if they were going to invest in that, it would have to be with him. All right, we'll finish off here with this bit, which is going to be the coaching and education development. So first and foremost, we agree upon one thing: continued education more accessible. We disagree on the methods of what's happening. So what I mean by that is making education more accessible is not moving the L1 course online so anybody could take it. It's not. To me, if you're going to move the L1 course online, make it free. Put in modules instead of humans and make it completely free. I think the education from CrossFit should be open source, meaning I could submit articles from it and just like, look at this. Somebody like Graciano Rubio, he's already made one of the highest rated sports documentaries. Yeah. And he's talking about pulling John. But this is exactly why you could take people like Graciano And if I open source and said, hey, dude, anything you want to send me for education, for training, what you're doing at your affiliates, how you're eating, or just anything like that, shoot it on over. Our editors will look over it and we'll publish it on our journal. You would get tons of people inputting stuff all the time. Not only that, but you would continue to make all of your education free and just pumping it out there. And I would have call to actions to it all the time. You'd finish a show with like Andrew Huberman or some big guest, and you have all these people that are watching the show, and you're debating back and forth about CrossFit methodology and his opinions on it. And then at the end, you go, by the way, guys, if you want to check out CrossFit, go download the L1 manual. It's completely for free down there. You could also take the course and do some of the modules. Hopefully you guys enjoyed enough to come on out and take one of our courses. And just constantly give it away for free. For free. And tons of it. Dang, my autofocus is off a little bit. Now, this next piece here with the offering a discount course for the L2 for your affiliates, I thought that this was good. This was one of the first things that I saw that I was like, okay, this is meaningful. They put forth like a $500 discount or something like that. You get off of a L1 course or a L2 course, essentially when you renew your affiliateship. I like this. I want to go further and say that you should also give your affiliate owners every single year one free L1 that they could give away to somebody that they're kind of building through their community to become a coach. I would make it so you couldn't apply it to anything but a brand new person who is not yet registered with CrossFit to become an L1. Think about it. Your upsell from the L1 to the L2 is essentially affiliateship. Why would you not give away lead magnets inside all of your distribution centers, aka the affiliates, who are working with all the potential new coaches? Like, why would you not give them a cert for free every single year? Not only is that an investment into their coaching staff, because now I could turn around and say, hey, Mary, you're killing it. We'd love to have you become a coach here. You're such a staple of this community. Like, go get your L1 on us. Like, not only are you giving me the resources to be able to turn around and invest into my own staff, but on top of that, now I'm just giving you another person that is potentially going to become an L2. Who knows? Maybe even go on to start their own gym one day. So it just doesn't make sense to me why you wouldn't just continuously invest into the people that are already invested into you, more than just a discount above and beyond, and do it for new people. Keep the discount for the affiliate owners and that type of stuff, but you could be way more creative of that. So I do think that they were on the right course with that. This was absolutely stupid. Sorry. I hate to like say it that way, to be like, but this was just a dumb idea. Why would you launch a new training focused YouTube channel on a new channel? You have a million plus subscribers on one channel, and that channel's basically dead. It's like limping along. And your idea is, okay, let's really invest in training here, and then let's just go ahead and put it on a whole new channel, so nobody could see it. I don't understand that. That makes that decision right there very much reminds me of the 30 million new CrossFitter decision and stuff. It's like, what were we doing? Who was advising you, and what were your thoughts are when you started this? You couldn't have been talking to somebody in the eco space. If you were going to revamp a YouTube channel and you want to know the ins and the outs and what to do about it, just call Hiller. Pay him an hour for his time. Be like, here's the back end of the YouTube channel. Like, what are your suggestions? I mean, he would jump on it to help, I'm sure. Jeffrey Howard, open source is what the journal used to be like. And after all this time, it still hasn't made its comeback. I don't think it's going to make its comeback because I don't think that they could monetize it. And that becomes a major issue with the short-term financial gain thinking of private equity versus the long-term community-focused approach towards maybe potentially a private owner that doesn't have any short-term initiatives that they really need to get off. So I think that the YouTube channel and starting a second one was a huge misstep there. And finally, we have big push on the L1. Big push. Big push. I sure hope they're not referring to the L1 commercials that were out from that agency that they hired. Now, I'm gonna be honest. Yes, I'm extra butthurt because yes, I have a media company that does this, and we would have crushed that commercial. In fact, Patrick Rios, who you contracted out years ago, made the only worthwhile L1 content since Sevon left. And so the fact that you didn't reach out to any of us to be like, what would you do for an L1? Hurts my ego. But that aside, it was absolutely terrible. It shows that you don't really understand the value of the L1. To me, that was the most disappointing part. It wasn't necessarily the stupid like cheese dick normal commercial. It wasn't like the people that they had acting in it, which seemed really like weird and cheesy. It wasn't any of that. It was the fact that it like completely, in my opinion, misrepresented the quality and the professionalism of the L1. It just made it fucking terrible. It made it look terrible. And it tried to imitate our imitators rather than its own standalone thing. And so obviously there's tons and tons of different things that we could go into about these, but these were the main initiatives set out by Don Faul in between August of 2022 and like August of 2023. Now, one thing I'll leave you guys with here is if you do want to go check out the full report, in the part where it says meaningful investment in media, you do have to understand that I had a personal agenda, and I literally put out a $2.4 million contract for 2 years for affiliate education and advertising media, straight to media launch. And then I also put a $1.2 million investment in games media, and I put Scott Vandersloot in charge, which I then would build the internal games media team and let them just run loose on that. So that's the assessment overall, and giving a fair assessment of the situation that Don walked into, the initiatives that were laid out, and then where he's made progress on those. For me, it sits somewhere between like a D plus and a C minus, because I don't think that a lot of this stuff was really put into that much thought was put into it. I don't think it. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know, but yeah, I'm giving it a C. I'm giving it a C minus here. And I feel that that's just me trying to be like fair and generous, and then not completely give an F, because if I were an investor here, you would be fired. Like there's no way you could continue to go on and not see that there's a long-term issue here, like a serious long-term issue here. The other thing too that I would like to note is that if I'm an investor and you don't know anything about CrossFit, and you were just, or the business, or really that connected to like the community aspect of it, like the media and what's happening on the scene, you would probably just look at the sheet of paper and think Don did a pretty good job, because he took affiliate fees, he raised the price on affiliate fees. So that was one kind of magic bullet they shot off that increased revenue. If you look at what happened in the games stuff by decreasing the operational costs there, that probably looked like it was successful. If I could say things like now we have 450% more leads being driven to affiliates through CrossFit.com's website, that might look successful on paper, even though none of those leads convert as far as I know. So if you're an affiliate and you got one of those leads and it converted to a member, please let me know. But I don't think the 450% increase means anything, except if you started from 0 and then went to 450% there. I do not think that affiliate relationships and networks have been strengthened at all. I think the improvement that has been made by media has mostly been the account of one team. And I feel that after the tragedy of the games, and even before that, more than ever, you need a strong voice and you need strong leadership. Period. Like, that's what's needed in times like this, not oscillating between apologizing and asking for sympathy and then fading away into the background for several months. Like no one's even heard of you or heard from you in a while. So like if you look at it on paper, you would probably say, wow, Don's doing great. But really, if you look at like the community, the perception of CrossFit at this time, and the opportunities that are still out there, it's a failing grade for sure. For sure. Graciano, CrossFit has done better than anyone. They need to be like themselves, and other people need to try to emulate CrossFit. 100%. 100%. Gonna be CrossFit. Gonna be a bunch of empty affiliates looking like empty Red Lobsters. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Don was probably exactly what they were looking for. Do what you're told. Yeah, Jeff, I think you're correct. I think you're correct. I would like to say that he has way more autonomy than he does. I really don't know. I would like to think that the board's just like, go do your thing and we're going to check your numbers, which could also be the reason why he's doing a lot of these things the way he's doing them. Because on paper, the numbers all look good, at least in the short term, right? At least in the short term. Rambler, RIP Red Lobster. Everyone needs to have Barkley Dale. Everyone just needs to have more meaningful conversations. You're right, my friend. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. If you guys want to go check this out in its entirety, here's the link. It's in the comments as of now. It's just a Google Doc. Go on there. You could check it out. You could read the whole thing. There's lots of stuff that we did not cover on the show that are in there. But I thought that this was a relatively fair assessment of Don's leadership. I thought in the initiative set out by CrossFit, I would like to think that some of the ideas and things that I put forth there could be helpful. And who knows? CrossFit. Is Souza standing in for Mayhem in that shirt? Future overlords? Very interesting. Alrighty, gang. You guys have a great day. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of this. If you're an affiliate owner, if you're a coach listening to this, I hope you know that there is more power within your hands to do what is necessary to get CrossFit and the CrossFit community back on track. You have more power than you think you do. Also, go check out the full document if you want it there. Some feedback is great. That's fine. And as always, be good to each other out there, guys. Thanks for listening. Next show, we're going to give you the nitty gritty, the behind the scenes look, my freakouts and my poopy pants attitude about broadcasting 2 live events and everything that unfolded there. That's going to be a little less structured, a little more free flowing, but we'll have a good time with it. All righty, guys. Have a great day. Be good to each other. Bye-bye.